Good evening and welcome to Economically Empowering Our Community. We're broadcasting live from right here in Jackson, Mississippi. Marcus' hometown, my hometown. And for whatever reason, we decided to come back to Mississippi to try and fix what was broken and try to move the state off of the bottom and do the kinds of things and provide leadership that's required to try to move the needle. Now, many of you might think that we haven't been successful at that, but we have put in everything that we had to try to make this place a better place than what we found it. Now, if you're watching us on YouTube, then share this program with your friends and family. Send us stars and subscribe to the program over on Facebook. Send us stars and subscribe over there as well. Then you can find us on anywhere you get your streaming content from. We're on Twitch, we're on TikTok, we're on YouTube, we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, and soon to be back on Roku TV. So we're looking forward to adding that to the mix. You know, we were once on Roku TV, and we're set right there between Showtime and Netflix on the big screen, and I look forward to getting back there. Once again, you can find us on the internet radio station, We Believe Digital Radio, one of the finest stations that you can listen to music anywhere in the world and all over the world as well. Now, Marcus, we're in the dog days of summer.
Yep.
It's hot out here in Jackson, Mississippi.
Super hot, super hot.
No, I'm not just talking about the weather.
That's right. Super hot. And today is definitely one of them for me. Just a little frustrated. Today looking at two topics that we are dealing with here in the city of Jackson. One, of course, the city of Jackson was awarded $24 million back a while back, and they're looking to do some infrastructure work and some cleanup work. And just heard a little bit through the grapevine today that a lot of the cleanup work that they're doing, some Caucasian companies have come in here to do the work. And man, I just don't understand that. I don't understand how a chocolate city is being controlled by white chocolate. I guess that's a good way to put it, isn't it?
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, Chocolate City ran by white chocolate. Usually if you got 80% dark chocolate and 15-20% white chocolate, that dark chocolate is gonna supersede that white chocolate, isn't it?
It is.
It's supposed to, doesn't it?
It will.
You're not gonna get white chocolate if you got that much dark chocolate, is you?
No,
Yeah, so it's strange to me, that we're dealing with that. Then, another topic that I saw where the city has an item on the agenda to award $1.3 million in TIF money to the developers who are going to renovate the old Vuka Ray apartment. There used to be corporate apartments on I-55 frontage road back in the day, but they're supposed to renovate, I think, the apartments for medical students and build a medical office building. Now, I'm happy and elated about the development and to see people coming to do business in Jackson. But again, how is it that, these developments that these Caucasian developers bring, but you got African Americans here doing developments and they don't even know about the TIF money and those incentives? The gentleman that's on State Street, I won't call his name on here, but he owns the Trio eatery property over there off of State Street. Well, people may not know that's a huge development. Not only is it a rooftop and a lounge, but there's also 4 levels of loft apartments that he's renovating. And no one has went over there and offered him any TIF money or any rebates or incentives, from the city or the county. And that's the foolishness we got to stop. It's very frustrating to me to see things like that, because I'm knowing the type of investment, the cost of that investment, and for him to have been doing it out of his pocket for the last several years, and no one has been over to take him a lunchbox and say, "Do you know about these facade grants or anything to help with this development?" But here it is, you're about to approve an item on the agenda for these folks over here on 55. We got to stop the foolishness, and we got to balance this thing out. And again, like I can't put it no simpler.
Well, Marcus, I think we got to educate a little bit. I don't know if our viewers out there, for the most part, understand TIF, tax incremental financing, and how you get it, what's it designed to do, and who should be receiving it. So let's take a moment and talk about how these buildings get built. How did the King Edward Hotel get refurbished? How in the world did the Business Improvement District come into existence in Fondren, and how much state money went in there? And how did we get things like the Western Hotel and stuff of that nature? Explain to our viewers a little bit, if you will, how this works.
Well, I guess that there's a myth, or been a myth, that we have people coming in here with big pockets to do these developments. They have resources. Let me get that straight. But a big push for them are what you call these TIF incentives, grants that the municipality or the county may have, or just basically no interest loans and things like that the state and all can provide. And so the ones that I can definitely speak on, of course, is the Iron Horse Grill and the Western Hotel. We got 1.6 million TIF money from the city of Jackson, which helped us on a $6 million deal with the renovating the Iron Horse Grill. We got 20 million from the state of Mississippi that allowed us to use as a down payment on a $70 million loan, which is how the Western Hotel got here. I also know that the county gave the Fondren folks 10 million for the garage over there. Am I correct?
That's correct.
I'm trying to see if it's any more, but there are a lot of developments or projects like that where the city and the county helps with these incentives. But when you talk to the African American developers or business folks in the city, no one is telling them about those incentives to try to help their projects along the way.
And so what we're saying out there, just to go over it again, the city incentivizes companies to do business in Jackson, to create buildings and projects in Jackson. And they can do that in a couple of different ways. They can do that, as Marcus is saying, with a TIF, tax in lieu of incremental financing, and where the city says that you're not going to have to pay any taxes associated with this development for 5, 6, 8 years. Now you think about that, our property taxes at the Retro Metro event in the Metro Center was over $100,000 a year. So if we were able to get tax abatement on our development out there, that equates to about a $500 million gift that helps you balance your balance sheet and make your pro forma work. And so Marcus is saying we would never have institutions like the King Edward, the Iron Horse, the Western Hotel, none of the museums. We would not have Fondren's Business District if it wasn't for TIFs and incremental financing assistance from our county, our city, and our state. But as he said, we're in a chocolate city. Jackson, Mississippi is 85% Black, and no Black folk are receiving these kind of benefits from our government.
You know, I don't know exactly what the name of it or if it's incentive or what, but it's my understanding that these data centers that are coming to town gave Entergy about $900 million. And so Mr. Haley Vasacari should be definitely somebody we should get on here as a guest to find out about this 900 million, because I do know they're going to spend a lot of money on overgrown vegetation, you know, clearing a lot of overgrown vegetation. But, you know, you have to really be engaged. And I think it was very smart on behalf of the data center folks, because with them using a lot of power and knowing that that would be a lot of issues and concerns raised, what better way to come in here than to stroke a big check to the main power source?
Right.
You know, and so it's up to us, ladies and gentlemen, on this as host of this podcast show, because again, the title of our show is Economically Empowering Our Community. So it's up to us to bring people like Mr. Vasacari on here to get info and facts on how this 900 is going to be spent, because guess what? Some businesses should definitely you know, be should definitely benefit from those opportunities.
When you see an economic engine like Entergy, you or Jackson State or the city or the county, you ought to be able to see their footprint when it comes to economic development and empowering our business community. You ought to see cottage industries springing up around that economic engine. In Entergy's case, their footprint is so large, that's almost statewide. Now, there are several major electrical companies in the state of Mississippi. And so we're talking about Haley Zachary with Entergy, but we have TVA that's in our state as well. We got Mississippi Power that's in our state as well. We got the Grand Gulf Nuclear Center that's in our state as well. And so in other cities, you can see how the local business community is it being advanced by those economic engines. But Marcus, I don't see a lot of it here.
Right.
Now, I see, and I know Haley Zachary personally. I see his good work when it comes to feeding the homeless, taking subsidy out to the giveaways for the community. But nobody seems to want to deal with economic empowerment. Nobody wants to say that, you know, we have an opportunity to move 10 Black businesses to the next level. And we got them on our radar. We know who they are, and we're going to mentor them, and we're going to move them to the next level. Marcus, we don't see that in Mississippi.
Not at all.
And we accept it. And we say that the solution is to get out the vote. That's all I hear about.
The solution is to, you know, is definitely to get out to vote. And again, it's nothing personal against the political leadership that we have. It's almost like, you know, sports. If this starting five is not getting the job done, or if this, you know, offense on the field is not, you know, getting, you know, moving the ball, then it's time to switch out and put some new players on the field. And, you know, the good part, I was telling somebody today, I met with a group of men earlier, and we were talking about a couple of things. The good part about it is, I think in the next, 4 years or so, we're getting ready to have a switch, automatic switch. I think a lot of folks are going to be in term ending, to be honest with you, you know, age or whatever. And so you know, that in itself is promising that we'll have a chance to get some new some new blood in, you know, and some different people. We hope.
Marcus, we used to say these old heads are going to die out and the racism would be over with. Marcus, we're getting worse on the younger generation than we were with the old heads. When Bud Robertson was here at Deposit Guarantee Bank and Hines was here and the guy that had the furniture company down there and the Holmans were here, we had a better chance of doing work than we do now with this new generation. So I don't know if the solution is
Terming
going to be timed out, or if we're going to get any better. We may, in fact, get worse.
Yeah, it's a possibility. You know, like I said, it's just not. It's not promising now. And you know, I love being a businessman. I have, you know, the Lord has been good to me on the business side, but I have this drive now that I got to get back to the political side because, and you know, not to say that I'm LeBron James of politics, but we got to get some people on that side who understands how this thing needs to go and gonna go not afraid to speak up when it's not right, you know, and get this needle moving, and so that is what, you know, makes me eager to get back to the political side in one of these seats, you know, somehow, some way.
Well, we need business people in these seats.
Right.
One of the problems that we have is that the elected officials don't know anything about economic development.
Right.
They never made payrolls. They've never had to deal with all of the issues that come with being a CEO. Marcus, the families have such a great deal of needs. So it's more than just having an employee. You become a partner in the family structure, trying to understand what they're facing today. So grown men will come to you and say that, you know, I'm having issues at home. My children won't act right. I'm dealing with all of these issues. And as a business person, you're supposed to be able to provide some guidance.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, you know, also you got to have people in these seats that understand that in order for the wheel to turn, all levels got to be addressed. Last week, we did 2 projects for JPS. We one of the elementary schools. We provided a sign for them. You know, I tell folks all the time, you know, these children, we're not doing a good service to these children. How do you expect a child to go to school and be eager to go to school when they can't even walk in the front door and see the name of their school and their mascot when they walk in? You know, and so we promised the kids over at Clydesdale Elementary that, well, you know, if Lord say the same, before school term started, they were gonna have a brand new sign up when they walk in the door, and we did. And then the following week, we fed the teachers, faculty, and staff of McLeod Elementary. We fed them lunch. But you know, the thing that we got to make sure people understand is, we as business people, we can't keep doing all of those things if we're not getting opportunities, man. That stuff costs money.
It costs money. And if you say that the city of Jackson had a $24 million opportunity to do clean out ditches and drains and some asphalt work, and if we're not participating in those activities, there's something wrong with that, Marcus. There's something wrong with that. I don't know why we would have an outside firm cleaning creeks or stabilizing creeks in Jackson, Mississippi.
And you know,
you can't hardly make that make sense.
Right. And you know, like you said, we never want people to think that all we talk about is construction. Just the same, I don't understand why we went out of town to get a consulting firm to tell us about our homeless problem when you got people here, you know, qualified to be consultants to address that issue. And so that's what I'm saying. We got to get the right people in the room who understand that, you know, if we don't promote and support local, we're not gonna move the needle around here at all.
No, we're gonna slide backwards.
Absolutely.
And we're gonna be in a situation where we're poor and broker and sicker than we've ever been before if we don't change this out. And so, Marcus, I'm glad to hear that you're willing to make the sacrifice to try to go on the inside and change some things. You know, there got to be some of us that'll remain on the outside, but somebody's got to go inside and try and change the culture of what's going on in our city, in our county.
Man, listen, I had no desire to be in politics. I've been around all business folks. But when my grandmother told me, she didn't ask, she told me to go back home and make a difference. And when I don't know if you know this or not, but I had to fight to become the mayor. It was actually legally fight. Took that issue all the way to Supreme Court and won.
Wow.
And so the night I won, an old 80-year-old man came to me with tears in his eyes. He said, "Son, we never thought we'll see hope down here in Edwards." And from that point on, that's been my drive, because a mayor is a powerful position. A lot of people don't really believe that, but mayor is a very powerful position. And, you know, to be able to really help the lives of people, it's like in my blood now. You know, it's I think if the Lord say the same, I plan to be in some type of public service from now to the day I die, honestly, because, you know, looking at changing the water quality for folks, or, you know, rehabbing houses for people, or, you know, having smooth paved roads in a black town that's not accustomed to getting major streets all at one time paid. Man, that is like instant gratification for me. So that's my drive. I just, you know, if the people are willing to give me a chance, I'll publicly serve from now to the day I die.
Marcus, we need to beg you to move into that arena, to stand up and make a difference, and we're counting on you to do that.
But before we go, you know, one thing I want to say too, because I really appreciate you for saying that. When we were on the campaign trail running for mayor,
yeah,
and we was at one of the debates, and somebody said, "Mr. Garrett, if you became mayor, who would you consider your CAO?" And you told them hands down, Marcus Wallace. I appreciate that.
Without a doubt.
I appreciate that.
Without a doubt. And his current mayor, if he's listening, he should have done the same thing.
Man, look here, we were gonna run it like it was a sewing machine. It was gonna be purring like a cat.
That's the way it should have been,
Marcus.
And, you know, no knocks against Peter Taberson. He was a fine young man, and he was had a tremendous amount of experience in city government. So I get that. But Marcus, other than that, man, I don't know anybody that would be a better CAO for this city than Marcus Wallace.
And you know that, and I appreciate that. But I take that with pride because of the fact that under my leadership, you're gonna see some successful people. You're not gonna wonder who getting the opportunity. No. Everything can't come out of City Hall. You were gonna see some black folks a part of it. In a black city, right. The mayor got a mayor.
The mayor is the man. He is all powerful, Marcus.
That's it.
Now we're up against a break, but when we come back, we haven't forgotten. We're going to deal with the $5 billion issue. We do it each and every week, so don't think y'all going to get a break out there. You got to hear it again. But we up against a hard break. Y'all stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Socrates Garrett ENT.com is a diversified firm specializing in recycled aggregates and crushed concrete. Socrates Garrett ENT.com's recycled materials provide the construction industry with significant economic and environmental benefits by recycling clean concrete rubble into M.grade rock materials. recycled aggregates, and crushed concrete can be applied to driveways, road construction, bank protection, parking lots, general bulk fills, and more. By using Socrates Garrett ENT.com's crushed concrete products, anyone from homeowners to general contractors can help reduce landfilled concrete waste, conserve natural resources, and gain significant economic savings on materials and disposal costs. For more information, please call 601-896-0084 or visit us online at SocratesGarrettENT.com.
The Mississippi Link is an African-American female-owned newspaper with a trusted voice that is highly respected throughout the city, state, and nation. Our motto, keepers of the knowledge for people who speak the truth, since 1993. Link significantly influences the thoughts, attitudes, and buying decisions of its readers. Call us at 601-368-8481 for your advertising needs. If you would like to receive a newspaper in the mail each week, our annual subscription is only $52 per year. That is only $1 per week for you to stay informed regarding many stories that you can only get in the Mississippi Link. Sign up today at themississippiLink.com and click on Home Delivery.
And we're back. We're live again from right here in Jackson, Mississippi at the We Believe Broadcast Studio. African American owned and operated. Let's stop right there for a moment. We got to have more African American owned and operated businesses in our city, Marcus. This is an example. Marcus, you are CEO. How many years?
Almost 30.
30-year CEO right here in the state of Mississippi. You've seen a thing or two.
Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord.
You got a few scratches and scars.
Yep, got a chance to see it. Got a chance to see the African American business community really together. Then I got a chance to be one of the known successful businessmen in the community. And now I've gotten a chance to see all the hell that broke loose. Yeah.
It's back to where it was before blacks became empowered.
Right.
And we did that back under the election of Mayor Harvey Johnson, the first African-American mayor in the great city of Jackson. And I believe he was the best mayor that we've had ever in the history of the city of Jackson. I believe that personally.
I believe it too, from a statistic standpoint. Again, we try to come with facts and stats on this show here, and that's why I'm telling folks that say he hadn't done anything. Put the apples, the oranges, from a statistical and factual standpoint, I would stand toe to toe with anybody and say he far exceeded the other mayors.
And he was a difficult guy. I mean, he wasn't a kind of guy that you could take lightly. I recall a couple of exchanges with him. Once I told him, I gave him an opinion about what I thought should happen in the city, and he gave me his answer, which I didn't particularly care for. And so I asked him the question again. He said, it's not that you're hard of hearing. You didn't like the answer I gave, so you asked the question again, but you're going to get the same answer. And so, I mean, the rap on Mayor Harvey Johnson, he was a 3-term mayor in Jackson, Mississippi. We haven't had anybody else that's been a 3-term mayor. And the rap on him, that he was slow and methodical. But I learned from him that you never have to apologize for something that you did not say. So he was a guy that he thought about things, and when he spoke, he normally was right in what his position was. Marcus.
Right. We've talked a couple of times about creating this platform, and I really want to start working on that, because I think what's missing are living room talks with our leadership. I think it's time to challenge all of our leaders African Americans and Caucasians. I mean, not just one side, to come, come in a living room setting, and let's have some real conversations on how we can move the needle in this city. The show we had with Oscar Miss Kelly, Oscar came with a very genuine spiel as to he wants to see one Jackson move in the same direction, and I really think that we need to really make that happen. I really do. And those that we invite and don't want to come, because they worrying about political stuff, we're gonna grade you, and we're gonna put that report out to let the people know that you're not willing to come talk to help resolve these issues.
So, Marcus, I know that you and I haven't had a lengthy conversation about it, but I believe that the Jackson Convention Center ought to be named after Mayor Harvey Johnson.
Oh, absolutely, hands down. You see, and it's nothing wrong with naming stuff after people who were impacted. It was just like yesterday, the new clinic, hospital, whatever, what they did in Yazoo City. They named it. They surprised Congressman Thompson and named it after him. He didn't, during the ceremony, they unraveled the name of it. And I think when people work hard and make things like that happen, they're deserving of something being named after them.
And we are also going to work on the Black Business Hall of Fame. We have to recognize those that shoulder that we're standing on, Marcus. Your father, Jerry Owens, who I think was probably the best business person, marketing guy in the state. Now, I know Charles Pickett would argue with that he is the best marketing guy. And both of them were tremendously gifted.
Well, it's like arrows. Jerry, let's just say Jerry was Dr. J and you was in the Michael Jordan era. That's why I tell folks I don't get in comparisons about Michael Jordan and LeBron, because I think all of them were errors. If you're gonna talk about superstars like Michael Jordan, LeBron, you cannot leave out Dr. J. So with Charles, that's what we'll do. We'll say you may have been in your era of time, and we'll give Jerry his.
Give Jerry his. That's a good way of putting it, because
Right.
They're both outstanding and they've done some remarkable things. I remember, we're talking about business people now. I remember that Jerry Owens was not only in Mississippi doing tremendous work. At one point in time, he had a food distribution company that supplied food to all of the Head Start agencies in the state of Marcus. He built out Bailey Avenue over there, the strip over there, had a clothing, a beautician shop, a lounge, and a distribution center all in the back over there. One man can make a difference. He's our Deion Sanders when it comes to business. One man turned that program around. And then I look up one day and he's in Detroit. He's working there. He's doing the same thing there. And they call him Mississippi Junior. And he was respected, and he was gifted, and he was recognized for being one of the shrewdest, toughest business people that we've ever had. Now, Marcus, I know y'all put a lot of people in good looking cars.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
And Vernon Jasper was over there with you guys.
Well, Mr. Jasper was a part of the food distribution company as well. And there are a lot of people like Mr. Jasper and my mom who were the nuts and bolts behind the scenes. I would say I'm kind of like Jerry, where no vision is too small or too big for me, and if it's in my mind, I want to go for it. And, the word is not in our vocabulary, but if it wasn't for folks like my mom and Mr. Jasper, who kind of slowed us down a little bit, I would say, and say, hold on now, we got to put something back for the rainy day and things like that. But the other thing and that's one of the things that I see with Jack. I was able to see that Jackson back in the day where it was talent everywhere. It was successful Black business people. But now I see a city of discouraged people. Like, it's almost like people have given up, I would say. And it's so much talent here. I won't announce her name because I think she's still putting together her business. But I met a young lady this week who, what she does is, at every high school, pretty much, they give the seniors a parking space to design their own little senior parking space. Well, this young lady, she's very talented. She can go, you tell her what you want, and she can go and draw it out. It looks very good, And I told her, I said, that might be your ticket. But for it to be her ticket, we need leaders like these school superintendents who can allot $25,000 out of the budget and say, I'm going to give this to the top seniors with the highest grade point average at these high schools, where we will, pay for their parking space to get done. So what you're doing is you giving that senior that pride and incentive at that school, but you also helping a Black African-American lady build her business in your community.
Yeah, and we got to do that. You got to think out of the box.
Got to think out of the box.
You got to go try some new things, Marcus, because the old things are not working anymore. So, Marcus, I believe y'all also had your own enforcers over there. Mr. Owens from down in Hattiesburg.
We call him Bay Brother. That name in itself kind of, let you know he mean business. Yeah, Bay Brother.
Marcus, he was nothing to play with.
Not at all. Not at all.
And so if you needed to have someone to enforce the rules and regulations, a friend of mine says, and the policies and procedures, you also had that in-house.
Right. Alvin Thorne used to call him Spotty. Lord rest his soul. Yeah. Those were the guys who, handled the foolishness. Let me just say that. And it's nothing that we're bragging on at all, but people will also try you in Black businesses, especially. So we had people that we may have done some owner financing, and they just decide they're not gonna pay us, and so you gotta sometime go see them. And so those guys, they were definitely loyal, which is definitely missing in this city. The loyalty in this city is gone. It's not like it used to be. And I was blessed at a young age to really see the real Jackson, Mississippi. And that's why I'm so eager to get it back.
Marcus, and you were having fun. You were doing business and having fun.
Absolutely.
I mean, I couldn't wait to get to Maximilian's, on Friday evening.
And then, I turned it into the Cartier, and it was the same. I got some buddies right now to this day. Man, we couldn't wait to get off at 5 o'clock to get to the Cartier. Brenda was cooking that good food. And, it was almost like I knew the people that were coming in the door. John Hardy, Bo Brown, those are the guys that kept the business going until the party nights. And then, we then took the Cartier and used it as political strength, where we did a lot of fundraisers for Congressman Thompson. We did a lot of fundraisers for Governor Musgrove, which hopefully will be on the show over in the next few weeks. And we did a lot of fundraisers for Mayor Johnson. And so we used the club as a political engine, and which is where I gained a lot of my relationships politically.
Networking.
Absolutely.
And we don't see that anymore. No networking. Everybody's on an island by themselves out here.
Yep.
And quite frankly, when you are by yourself, you're easily picked off.
Yep.
And so the lack of networking led to some of the trouble that our elected officials are having. We never would have had this deal with Lumumba and Banks and Jody and Lee and Smith. Had we been networking, we would have said, somebody would have said, boy, don't do that.
That, man, I was just getting ready to say that. And I would definitely say it publicly now that everything is over. Of course, me and Mayor Lumumba, we didn't see eye to eye at all when he was mayor, but on the campaign trail, we got a chance to talk and make amends and just put things to the side or whatever. And I really was praying for him during this ordeal or whatever. And I really think he and Jody got a blessing, if you want to be honest about it, compared to what they were facing.
I believe they were charged with one count.
Right, as opposed to they were looking at, I think one was looking at 75 years, one was looking at 50 years. And to be looking at 5 or less, that's a blessing.
Yeah.
And so, but I think I can say this now. The biggest thing that was missing with both of them, they didn't have no OGs in their corner, because clearly some of the things that I saw during this ordeal, an OG would have clearly said, come on, y'all, think about this.
Think about it.
Somebody gonna send a private jet to fly you to Florida. Private jet to Florida is probably about $40,000. Then when you get there, give you $5,000 cash to throw in the strip club. An OG would be like, okay, I'm gonna tell y'all one time, and then I'm heading back to Jackson. Everybody in the circle appear to be green.
Right.
And young.
And green, right. And young equivalent to being green, because it takes having seen some things. And, Lumumba Jr. would have never been in that situation if Lumumba Sr. was still here. He would have stopped that. And so we got to network, we got to support one another, because at the end of the day, together we're going to win. And if we're divided, we're going to fall, the whole business community. I remember when Mayor Johnson got elected, he immediately had an outreach event over in Lakeover. Marcus, every business person in the Tri-County area was in attendance. The room was full of people.
When the last time you seen that happen in Jackson?
I have not seen it happen.
Not one outreach meeting held where somebody, city, county, or state, has brought the business community in one room.
Right. And we void in so many areas. We had Tom Espy up in the state government at that level, working and doing things. We had less range over there. We had a lot of brothers inside of the state organization. We had strong brothers inside of municipal and county government. And so a lot of things just didn't happen. We stopped those things from happening. And we got to get back to networking and protecting our people and growing our economy, Marcus. We talk about economically empowering our communities. That's what we're about. We're not here to bash anybody, as you say, but if you are last in everything and you don't get the opportunities nor the resources to develop and grow, then you have to speak out about it.
Right. And, again, we're here to help. Even to the listening audience, if there are leaders, department heads, or if you're close to some of these leaders or department heads, let them know that they can call us and ask to come on the show. We want as many people in position to have been guests on this show. We want JSU president to come. We want the CFO of JPS to come. We and the superintendents of these other school districts. We want the big ministers to come, so we can talk about how the churches can help, you know, with these issues that we're dealing with in our community, such as crimes. We want to help. This is not a show that we have created to bash people. Even when we do the grade cards, we're not bashing you, you know, at all. We're basically doing the grade card. So maybe sometimes it takes looking in the mirror at yourself before you can really see where problems lie. And so this grade card hopefully will help certain people where if they see, well, I've been lacking in, you know, making sure African American opportunities afforded, you know, afforded opportunities or whatever, or this, you know, this category, that category. We're just here to help. We're not trying to bash anybody, and we want to make sure people understand that.
And so we're getting close to the end of our show. So I didn't forget. We are going to talk about it. Engineer, get it up on the screen. We're going to talk about the $5 billion. We got to talk about it, y'all. We are 40% of the population in the state of Mississippi. And these gentlemen on the screen control Mississippi state government. And anything that's good or anything that's bad, they have to say it's happening under my watch. And we have the governor, Tate Reeves, on the screen. We have the chairman of the Mississippi Business Development Authority, Bill Cook, on the scene. We got Delbert Hosen on this, the lieutenant governor on the screen. We got the Speaker of the House on the screen, Mr. Johnson. And so these gentlemen here have to answer for these statistical facts. The state of Mississippi spends $5,519,862,146 annually for contracted expenditures, of which $5,297,794,939 go to white men, 95.9%. The total that goes to minorities is $222,067,939. But get this, white women are counted as minorities, and of that 222 million, white women get $181,621,192 to white women, 3.3%. That leaves $40,446,747 that goes to minorities, 0.73%. One black firm should be doing $40 million a year.
Yes.
If I ask Hemp Hill, what are you doing this year? 250, 350, $400 million. If I ask white firms and Neil Schaefer, what are you doing this year? 400 million, 300 million. I asked a black firm, what are you doing this year? 300,000.
Yep.
Shit,
yep.
Marcus, that you know, somebody needs to curse.
Yeah, exactly.
Somebody needs to say, this ain't mathing. The math ain't mathing.
And you know, the other part to that is now those are state numbers that you just mentioned, but from a percentage standpoint, the county and the city is no better. It's less than 5% probably at the county and the city.
We got to get the exact numbers on it.
We got to get the exact numbers.
Marcus, if those numbers are that low under the county government and the city government, they all need to be replaced. If those numbers are that low, Marcus, is kind of like the community, the citizens of the community is the coach and owner of the team.
Yep.
We need to go to the mound, get the ball, and call somebody in from the bullpen.
That's right. That's right.
That's the only way you fix that, Mark.
Exactly.
And so in the games are not, we know it's bad. And I got a meeting tomorrow with Commissioner Willie Simmons, and we're going to talk about some issues that are very disturbing to me, that he promised that when he went into that position, he was going to improve minority participation. And when Mr. Simmons got in there, let me just tell you how bad that is. When he got in there, he found that the Central District was receiving less than a third of the money that was being spent in other districts. Now, that doesn't happen by accident. If the Central District, which comprised of Benny Thompson's district, if it's getting less than a third of the money that the other districts are getting, that doesn't happen by accident. Black folks getting $40 million out of $5.5 billion doesn't happen by accident. And so we have some issues here that we got to come to the table, me and you and the governor and the speaker and the mayor and the board of supervisors and the superintendent. We got to say, Houston, we got a problem.
Yep, we got problems. We got real problems. I tell you another issue that we need to be raising some saying about right now. The fact that the governor's election is right around the corner and we don't have not one Democrat that has come out running for governor.
Wow.
That's a problem, y'all. That's a problem right now. We got to get a Democrat out here, and get on this pavement and get to, running for this election. Brandon Presley, where are you, sir? And Otha Kane said earlier today that, we got to also understand that in these higher positions, higher elected positions, the Democrat doesn't necessarily have to be a white man. So, somebody need to come on and let's run, and run hard, because we got 4 or 5 Republicans that have made it known that they're running, but no Democrat.
Well, Mark, I think they're beat down to a position now where we're almost saying, I quit.
We can't quit, y'all. I know that's easier said than done, because like I said, I came in here frustrated today about a couple of issues that I heard about, but let me tell you, we cannot quit. We got to keep pushing. We got to keep encouraging young folks. It's okay to have fun and party, but come on, y'all, it's time to get serious, and you got to really understand the importance of your vote, and we got to get to voting. There's no reason Black folks should be starving and struggling here in the state of Mississippi when we got an 80% African-American capital city, 70% majority African-American largest county in the state, and right at 40% African-Americans in the state of Mississippi. The numbers are there, but y'all ain't showing up, plain and simple. And you got to start showing up.
Marcus, that brings us to the end of our time for today. As always, we appreciate those of you that are watching. Our viewers, we take very seriously. Thank you for all of the comments that you make. We are looking for a sponsor for this show. If you think and you believe that the work that we're doing is tremendously important, then consider sponsoring this show. Now, we come on each and every Tuesday at 5:30, bringing you the information and calling balls and strikes the way we see it. We are trying to economically empower our community for our children and for those businesses and those that aspire to one day be in business. You can't be what you have not seen. And you just can't do it if you've not been exposed to it. And so it's tremendously important. Marcus, any parting shots before we go?
Man, that's it. That's it.
Well, with that being said, y'all stay safe, and we'll see you next week.
Good night.